We'll talk about the actual mortgage update topic today, which is, will upfront mortgage insurance premium changes for FHA loans affect you? Man, that was a mouthful. That's going to be a great title, though, on a blog post when we do it. Elisa.
That's not the title I gave it. My title was FHA raises insurance premiums.
Really?
That's way better.
No, it's much easier to say.
Much more to the point.
Exactly. Okay, fine. Tell us about the dang premium.
All right, so basically FHA they are raising their insurance premiums. Okay, and the reason for this is, as we all know, FHA, they provide insurance to the lenders to cover basically just in case the borrower defaults on their FHA loan. So there's a lot of people doing that, and their reserve account to pay these is shrinking. It's pretty low, so they got to shore back up this piggy bank that they have. It done shrunk. So they need to raise these premiums. So FHA's got two parts of premium one. The first part is the upfront, and right now it's at 1%, and it's going to go up to 1.75%. That can be financed in, but that's a pretty big jump. Second part,
75% jump.
Yeah, 0.75% jump. Yeah, that's a big one.
75% jump.
Right. Right.
Okay, don't mess with my math.
1% to 1.75%.
I worked on it all day yesterday.
And that was his one line. He has one note. That was it.
That was his line. So the second part is 75%. The annual premium, and currently that's at 1.15%. April 1st, when these changes take effect, they're going to go up to 1.25% for loans under $625,500. In June, for loans over that amount, it's going to go up to 0.35%. It's going to go up by 0.35% to 1.5%. So, I mean, basically, this is going to have an effect, obviously, on purchases. I recommend if you are currently pre-approved for an FHA loan, talk to your loan officer, your lender, to make sure that in case April comes along, you haven't found anything, you haven't entered escrow, that these changes won't affect your pre-approval. Also, on refis, if you haven't refied your FHA loan yet and you're thinking about doing that, you better jump on that ball, because April 1st, it's going to be much harder for you to qualify for that streamline. So that's how it's going to affect us. But yeah. And
when FHA originally announced, I don't even remember the exact date, but I think it was 2010, and Congress basically allowed them to increase the upfront.
We're not even
premiums.
at that point yet.
No, they increased it. They allowed it up to 2.25% on the annual, and we're not there yet.
We're not even close to that yet. So, and I do expect it to go up again.
Expect more good times to come.
More good times.
So just so you know, this is going to be like, the fourth change in 3 years? Come June? So. In June will be the fourth change.
What do you think has generated this change here? Maybe some of the recent changes with the bigger banks and them dropping some of their product?
What I was saying is that because of all the defaults, their reserve account that they're required to hold to pay for it just in case people are defaulting, it's dwindled to practically nothing. And to avoid a potential bailout from taxpayers and the government, they need to raise these premiums, because that's where these premiums go to. Your upfront, your annual, it goes to this piggy bank, and you're going to have to pay for a minimum of 5 years. And they need to keep that funded.
They were required to keep a certain amount in reserves.
Right, and they're below that
and
legally.
That basically went away. They couldn't meet that as of probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And so this is just an attempt to basically they're hemorrhaging cash.
Right.
So,
I mean, obviously FHA is still a great option versus putting 20% down. And sometimes if you don't have the 740 plus credit score, this is still a great option to go. But just know that come April, it is going to get a little bit more pricey. So
you could use Shadap.
Is that
you can use Shadap with FHA.
Is that for everyone who starts the process after April 1st, or
it's
everyone who's in the process?
Locks the interest rate.
So you have to lock your interest rate before March 30th.
It's going to be based off the case number. So case numbers are tied to the property
address.
So say you come into escrow, like I have a couple people who are with short sales and they're just waiting to open. They already got the acceptance and the counters. And eventually, if we get close to that April deadline, I'm just going to go ahead and request that case number that's assigned to that property so I can lock them into these lower rates. These lower premiums.
So you have to request a case number prior to April 1st in order to not be affected by the increase.
Well,
But you have
and
to
you
have
have to
a
stick with that
property
property.
address.
You have to have a property
under
address.
contract.
Well, I got a
Right.
couple of those. If anybody needs a property
you don't
address, give me a
necessarily
call.
no,
Not
you,
under
you don't have to
contract.
necessarily be under contract, but the challenge with that, Frank, is if you think you're going to go under contract on a
Yeah.
home and then you don't get it accepted,
Right.
Well,
you're done.
I'm feeling the effect of some of these changes right now because
you?
I've got a hot potato property that I had about 15, 16 offers on.
Bunch of people trying to go
even
in.
though I've told the agents that I'm good about informing them on when the buyer is selected, I'm not going to just leave them sitting around, choose a buyer, and then never call them again.
Why not? Everybody else does.
Well, I don't do that. But I've had them repeatedly call every day, email me, and they seem to be
Because they're-
in
They're
such
trying to get 'em in.
despotism because
Yeah.
they said that their buyer's lending program could change or will change, and they don't give me the details, but I'd imagine that
That's
some
what
of this
it
is
is.
some of the effect, and they're telling me, I need to know, we need to know soon, or my buyer's going to be
They may have
disqualified from
gotten-
their particular loan or
well,
so forth.
as a seller's agent, that would concern me because if those little tiny
If that
changes
little
are going to
change,
disqualify
yeah.
them, they're probably not that qualified of a buyer.
Right.
Well, I've already had one drop off too because of their employment status. I guess they're employed
Or
somewhere in
non-employment
the
status.
in the trucking industry and with the gas
Wow.
prices and whatever.
Yeah.
They,
Keep on trucking.
yeah.
And sometimes those truckers are 1099, so
That's right.
So
I have
There
one
you
right
go,
now.
man. And if you know, and then again, if you need a little help, you can always get $3,000 towards your closing costs
You
by
can.
going to got3000.com.
Like the butter.
golden
We're
ticket.
giving away.
Like
We're giving away a golden ticket, a $3,000 certificate to the purchase of an Orange County or Los Angeles County home, and you can get involved and on board by going to got3000.com. That's GOT3000.com. Read the rules and restrictions, and we'll say the secret word sometime today. And you take that secret word, you put it in the correct box, and you are entered into the drawing.
I believe there was a couple of those given away at the taking it to the streets.
There
one.
was
Yes.
two of them.
That's
$1,000
another
given
reason to
away.
come to taking it to the streets on the last Wednesday. So we got all kinds of things going on. We got got3000.com. We got helplongbeach.com. And then
We have
ours.
changes in Chedap.
And we have Chedap changes. So all kinds of stuff is going on. Supporters shout out to homeownershipuniversity.com because all the stuff we talked about early in the show can be found on homeownershipuniversity.com. And we love our supporters.